In order to train as hard as possible, you must retain a clear image of your purpose. Once your goal is sharply but realistically defined, all that remains is carrying out your plan. Don't, however, worry about your individual potential. Potential is only the expression of a possibility, something that can be assessed accurately only in retrospect. In other words, you'll never know how good you might have become unless you try.
If you want something bad enough, you can't let anybody tell you you can't do something, not even yourself. People doubted me, I doubted myself sometimes too. You know what? That's what it takes. To do anything successfully in life, you've got to want it as bad as you want to breathe. And if you want it that bad, if you're willing to give it that much,
right! Excellent, excellent, great job. Dig! Oh, you're strong! You got two more in you! You got two more in you!
The last rep, the hardest rep, the only rep requiring 100% intensity of effort. Working to a point of momentary muscular failure, where another rep is impossible despite your greatest effort. Requires literally 100% intensity of effort.
Every single time that you come in here, you give 110%. If you're not giving 110% and you're only giving it 99, you got one more to give. If you're giving it 100%, you're not at your fucking limit. Because nobody tells you how much you can put in and how much you can't. So you put in 110%. So every fucking person watching can undoubtedly see you and your fucking truth.
In other words, you'll never know how good you might have become unless you try.
I believe you have to believe. You have to believe you can. You can. In fact, find your impossible. What is it you think is impossible? You could never quite grasp it. That's what you should go after. If you don't have a dream, man, you're dead.
You might rather die than lose. Give, come on. More! Excellent, come on. Failure has been achieved, thank God.
I wasn't chosen to be this guy, to be in the leader camp or whatever, but I wanted it so bad. In fact, the only difference between most of you and me, the only difference between me and you is I wanted it more. I wanted it more. I believe that sincerely, and I'll die on that thought.